I believe that the death penalty should not be abolished. I believe it should be restored. And any removal of the death penalty, we are setting up ourselves for a grave situation, and we have already seen signs of it in Grenada.
Immediate past President of the Senate, Chester Humphrey, strongly opposing the removal of the death penalty as a form of punishment for criminal offenses. His expression comes against the backdrop of a recent revelation by Ray Thomas, Crown Counsel in the Office of the Attorney General, during Grenada's Universal Period Review, the UPR, that the government of Grenada is contemplating the removal of the death penalty as punishment for a criminal offense. Thomas, in her remarks, added that before a final decision is made, the public will get the opportunity to offer suggestions and recommendations as part of a consultative process. Humphrey explained the rationale for his opposition to the planned removal of the death penalty.
Given the fact that gun crime in particular is now at pandemic proportions, given the situation that in some Caribbean territories there is what I consider to be a low-intensity civil war, right, in which criminals linked to the narco trade are the dominant factors. Given the fact that in some Caribbean jurisdictions, the army has to be called out to do police work. And in some countries, like in Jamaica, states of emergencies in different areas are perpetually ongoing. The ultimate direction of that growing criminalization in the society is what you see in Haiti. I'm saying, given that overall situation, I am wrongly and firmly opposed to the removal of the death penalty, and I would wish to see the death penalty restored.
Referencing the recent spate of vicious crimes, Humphrey deemed it a low-intensity civil war that the state cannot address using the current approach. He is of the opinion that there should be a radical overturn even of criminal legislation, and the mandatory nature of capital punishment should be restored.
Failure to do so directs our societies down the path of Haiti. Because what is happening in Haiti today is that the crime industry is challenging the state for power. That's what's happening in Haiti today. And there are more than nascent signs of this development taking place in the Caribbean. The Caribbean and Latin America have some of the world's highest levels per capita of murders. And I'm saying Grenada is not totally insulated, and we have begun to see the nascent signs of it. I think it's a grave mistake to abolish the death penalty, right? And it's a graver mistake for us to refuse to restore it. I think the time has come for the restoration of the death penalty. And I believe rather than allow a court to decide what happens in these matters, put it to a referendum.
Grenada is one of 14 states reviewed by the UPR Working Group during its 28th to 9th May session. Thomas told the UPR Working Group that the removal is the government's intention. She is quoted as saying, "Government intends to initiate public consultation on the potential abolition of the death penalty. Grenada remains open to receiving international support and technical assistance to help facilitate this important conversation." Unquote. The last hanging occurred in Grenada in 1978, and there has been no state hanging since. Currently, Grenada is not a signatory to the Second Optimal Protocol to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, entered into force on the 11th July 1991 with the aim to abolish the death penalty. According to this protocol, parties signing and ratifying it that abolition of the death penalty contributes to the enhancement of human dignity and progressive development of human rights, and that all measures of abolition of the death penalty should be considered as progress in the enjoyment of the right to life. As of August 2021, there was one person on death row in Grenada. Christina John, GBN News.